This is a story about a girl who learned to use her time wisely. Once upon a time, in a faraway village, there lived a young girl named Nisha. She was very pretty, with long silky black hair, bright eyes, and a smile that could light up any room. But despite her beauty, Nisha was not happy. She would spend hours every day doing nothing. She would just sit around the house or wander aimlessly through the fields. One day, Nisha's mother called her and said, "Tomorrow we will go to the market. Can you please buy some vegetables for me?" "Okay, Mom," replied Nisha. The next day came, so Nisha and her mother went to the market together. Her mother gave her a list of vegetables she needed, and then told her to wait for her in the market while she went to buy some spices. "Don't leave the market," her mom said, "or you might get lost." But Nisha was bored. She thought the market was so uninteresting. So while her mother was buying the spices, she decided to run away from the market and hide in the nearby cornfield. She ran and hid behind a tree and started playing with a little dog she found there. Nisha played in the cornfield for what seemed like hours. Then suddenly, she heard her mother calling her name. "Nisha, Nisha!" Nisha got scared. She had been playing for so long that she didn't realize how far away from her mother she had gone. Now she couldn't find her way back to where her mother was. Tears started rolling down her cheeks. She was all alone in an unfamiliar place. As she was crying, she heard a voice. "Why are you crying, child?" Nisha looked up and saw an old woman standing in front of her. "I'm lost," Nisha said, wiping her tears. "I was playing, and now I can't find my mother anywhere." The old woman smiled and said, "Don't worry, child. I'll help you find your mother." The old woman took her hand and walked her through the maze of cornfields. After walking for a while, they finally reached the edge of the field, and Nisha saw her mother searching for her. "Mom!" she cried and ran towards her. Her mother hugged her tightly and said, "Oh, Nisha, I was so worried about you. Where were you?" "I'm sorry, Mom," said Nisha. "I was playing and I got lost." Her mother was very angry, but she also felt relieved to have found her. They both went home without saying a word. When they reached home, Nisha's mother called her and said, "Nisha, why do you spend all your time doing nothing? Look, you have nothing to do at home, so I want you to start helping me with household work." Nisha understood that she had wasted a lot of time. She had played and done nothing all her life. She knew she couldn't keep doing this. Now she wanted to be useful and help her family. So she replied, "Of course, Mom. Tell me what I can do." Nisha's mother was very happy to see the change in her. She gave her a list of things to do, and Nisha started working. At first, it was hard for her. She was not used to doing anything, but she worked hard and slowly got better at everything. One day, Nisha's mother went to the market and asked Nisha to take care of the house. "Don't leave the house for anything," she told Nisha. But Nisha got bored and thought of going to the market. "It'll be fine if I just go quickly," she thought. So she put on her shoes and went out. But when she stepped outside, she realized it was too hot to go anywhere. She sat down on a nearby tree to rest. And as she sat there, she started thinking about all the things she had to do at home. She thought about how her mother would be waiting for her to finish her work so she could rest. Suddenly, Nisha felt very bad about herself. She realized that she wasn't being fair to her mother by wasting her time. Nisha got up and went to the market. She bought all the things her mother had asked for, and even some flowers for her. When her mother returned home, she was very happy to see that everything was done and that Nisha had even bought her favorite flowers. "Thank you, Nisha," she said. "You did everything I asked you to do. I'm very proud of you." Nisha smiled. She was happy to have made her mother happy. From that day on, Nisha never wasted a moment. She understood that time was precious. She would wake up early in the morning before sunrise and start working. She would help her mother with household work and take care of the animals. In the evenings, she would study and read books. Nisha became a very hardworking and responsible girl. She was no longer the lazy girl who spent her time doing nothing. One day, Nisha's mother called her and said, "Nisha, tomorrow we will go to the market. Can you please buy some vegetables for me?" "Okay, Mom," replied Nisha. The next day came, so Nisha and her mother went to the market together. Her mother gave her a list of vegetables she needed, and then told her to wait for her in the market while she went to buy some spices. "Don't leave the market," her mom said, "or you might get lost." But Nisha was bored. She thought the market was so uninteresting. So while her mother was buying the spices, she decided to run away from the market again. She ran and hid behind a fruit stand and started playing with a little cat she found there. Nisha played with the cat for what seemed like hours. Then suddenly, she heard her mother calling her name. "Nisha! Nisha!" Nisha got scared. She had been playing for so long that she didn't realize how far away from her mother she had gone. Tears started rolling down her cheeks. She was all alone in an unfamiliar place. Then Nisha remembered the old woman who had helped her find her way home last time. She decided to go back to the cornfield to ask the old woman for help. So she ran as fast as she could towards the cornfield. When she reached the cornfield, she started looking for the old woman, but she was nowhere to be seen. Nisha was very disappointed. She felt like she had wasted so much of her time and had nothing to show for it. She felt like giving up, but then she saw a small cottage at the edge of the field. She walked towards the cottage and knocked on the door. An old woman opened the door and asked, "Can I help you?" "I'm looking for an old woman who lives in this area," Nisha said. "Perhaps you know her." The old woman shook her head and said, "I'm sorry, but I don't know any old women living around here." "Oh," Nisha said, disappointed. "Well, thank you anyway." As she turned to leave, the old woman called out to her and said, "Wait, child, why did you come to this area in the first place?" Nisha told her about how she had gotten lost while playing, and how she was looking for the old woman who had helped her. The old woman listened patiently, and then said, "I know the woman you're talking about. She lives in the next village, and she's not an ordinary woman. She's a very wise hermit who has dedicated her life to helping others. If you really need her help, then go to the next village and find her." Nisha thanked the old woman for her help and started walking towards the next village. When she reached the village, she started asking people about the wise hermit, but nobody seemed to know where she lived. Discouraged, Nisha sat down on a nearby tree to rest. Just then, an old man approached her and asked, "Can I help you?" "I'm looking for a wise hermit who lives in this area," Nisha said. "Perhaps you know where she lives." The old man smiled and said, "I know the woman you're talking about. She lives in the forest outside the village. But be careful, it's a dangerous place, and you might get lost." Despite the warning, Nisha was determined to find the hermit. She thanked the old man and started walking towards the forest. As she entered the forest, Nisha realized that the old man had been right. It was a dangerous place. There were wild animals everywhere, and the trees were so thick that no sunlight could get through. Nisha was scared, but she kept walking. After what seemed like hours, she finally saw a small cottage in the distance. She walked towards the cottage and knocked on the door. An old woman opened the door and asked, "Can I help you?" "I'm looking for a wise hermit who lives in this area," Nisha said. "Are you the wise hermit?" The old woman nodded. "Come in, child. I've been expecting you." Nisha entered the cottage and sat down in front of the hermit. "Tell me, child, why do you seek my help?" the hermit asked. Nisha told the hermit about how she had wasted her time as a child and how she wanted to make up for it. The hermit listened patiently and then said, "Child, you have wasted a lot of time, but it's never too late. You can still make up for it. But you must understand that time is the most precious gift you have. Never waste it. Nisha thanked the hermit for her advice and started her journey back home. When she reached her village, she started working harder than ever before. She helped her mother with household work and took care of the animals. She also started spending time with her friends and family. Nisha was determined to make the most of her time. One day, many years had passed since Nisha had met the wise hermit. Nisha was now a beautiful young woman who was known throughout the village for her kindness and hard work. She had used her time wisely and made something of her life, and it all started with a simple story about a girl who learned to value time. And that's the end of the story. Now you know that time is the most precious gift we have. We should never waste it. Thank you for listening. See you next time.